hate when a guy tries to use a woman for her body parts instead of using her for love. They try to damage your heart, and then you wonder why she's willing to give up her goods to almost any guy. And every time she does, it's her own type of highs, because one day she was innocent and her jewels were safe, but they were stolen from her by a snake. Pretended to be polite, told her everything was alright, but at the age of 3, she's terrified of the night. Not because of the shadows in the dark or the scary images under her bed, but the one who's physical, who drew scars in her head, who not only stole her precious stones, but waited every time she was alone to make sure that in the future every man was the same, and just wanting to use her pieces like a board game, and her kings were only in her dream. And even though she has a knight, every guy who tries to save her just reminds her of why she's afraid of the night, and every man who tries to touch her brings the chills like December. And when the daylight is like summer, she's always in winter, and comfort tries to come from all around her, but she tries to be a leader, and pain is her follower, and tears are no longer water from her eyes, they become knives. And every time she cries, and when she looks in the mirror, she wishes she was thinner. The ridiculing remarks makes the storm gets bigger, no umbrella to cover her, no arms that can hold her, because she's so damaged that when she's touched, she crumbles like glass, and will always be hunted by demons of her past. And she lives, but every night she dreams of death, because death would be better than all the rest of the people who boss her up like papers and says she's amazing, but she doesn't even feel it from her own creator. And every time someone tries to date her, she shuts them down like an ice maker. And this girl's looking at me in my reflection, and I try to break the mirrors, and when I see your shadows, I go to other directions, but I can't run from my past because it's connected to my future. And looking back at my life, I can see I'm a little bit wiser, but I'm tangled up in the webs of the spider, and I feel super high and I want to go higher. I need a real man who can be my provider, not things bought with plastic or paper, but a heart full of love. Hate can't seem past it. I want to be defined not by my past, but who I've become. The devil thought that he had me wrapped around his thumb, killing my seed, and then came after me, but my God is Titanic, and I'm sailing out to sea. Who is going to stop me from being who I am? I'm written in the will of the great I am, and I'm in the master's hands, so that when that man comes along to pick me up and open my eyes, I'll feel more like a bride than somebody's prize, and I won't have to hide from a real love from a man, because I was crushed by pain and sin, and my God forgives and takes me as I am, and I'm battered and broken, but these words has been spoken as an excuse to throw in the towel, but I'm broken to pieces. What do I do now? Remember, there is no testimony without test, and I know because I used to be a mess, letting people control my every move, forgetting that God's team can never lose. And if you are broken and abused and hurt, don't give up the fight. Just break down the curses it holds and spoken over your life. I took back my life, and now I'm my own excuse. But do the things that God needs you to do, because He is one friend who will never leave you nor forsake you. And that same God who tried to rape you of your name, of your pride, and burying you 6 feet under before you even died, and I bet your tongue is 3 inches shorter from biting it hard. Yeah, I was there once, but look at me now. If it had not been for God who was on my side, I would have drowned, because my so-called friends weren't even around. My cry for help was muffled. Only God could hear my sound, like a wolf searching for his prey. He taught me, He caught me, and He brought me to my knees so that I can pray. And I can't explain why He dried my tears from my face, but I just say it's mercy and grace, and I'm living proof that anyone whose heart can be healed. If you're willing to die to your flesh, confess with your mouth, never give up the fight, because God never dims His light, never settle for less, because when we let go, that's when God sends us our blessing. I'm sowing this seed to touch someone's life. God, give them strength, just as you've given me strength many times. Be their God and light, but let your light shine. I pray that this ministry stretches far and wide to let them know that they don't have to hide from the trials and pain that's inside of their life. For that girl or boy who's afraid of the dark, open their eyes and open up their heart, so that one day they'll find love. And fold the creases, because They are like paper thin, and let your holy word be everlasting pens, and draw them close when no one else around will hear their cry. And when that parent who abused them turn their hearts to cold, dry ice, clear the air when they fall, because they're broken to pieces and have muffled their calls, so you show them that they are important, whether big or small, broken to pieces.